Imagine a line drawn in the dirt. Now imagine that line holding back an entire army. In September 1939, the German war machine, the Blitzkrieg, was an unstoppable force. It tore through Poland with terrifying speed. But for 3 days, on a small stretch of river and marshland, it was stopped cold. Not by a grand army, but by a few hundred men who decided that some lines cannot be crossed. This is the story of the Polish Thermopylae, the Battle of Wizna. I'm Ibnul Jaif Farabi, and this is Flashpoints, the wars that shaped us. The place was Wizna, in northeastern Poland. It was a strategic choke point, and Polish command had fortified it with bunkers and trenches. But by September 8, 1939, the situation was catastrophic. The front was collapsing. The unit meant to defend the position was a skeleton crew. In command was Captain Raginis, a young officer who swore an oath to his superior that he would defend his assigned bunkers until death. His force was roughly 720 men, mostly from border infantry and a machine gun battalion. They had 6 pieces of artillery, some anti-tank rifles, and a lot of determination. Against them came General Heinz Guderian's 19 Panzer Corps, over 40,000 German troops, hundreds of tanks, squadrons of Stuka dive bombers, and relentless artillery. The math is obscene. The Poles were outnumbered over 50-1. The battle opened with an aerial and artillery storm meant to vaporize the Polish defenses. The earth shook. Concrete bunkers cracked. But when the German infantry and tanks of the 10th Panzer Division advanced, they were met with precise, devastating fire from Captain Raginis's concealed positions. The Polish defenders, using the swampy terrain to funnel the Germans into kill zones, repelled the first assaults. They knocked out tanks. They cut down infantry. For a day, the Goliath of the Blitzkrieg stumbled. But the pressure was absolute. Bunker by bunker, the Polish perimeter shrank. Communications were cut. Supplies ran out. The constant bombardment turned the land into a moonscape. Yet, the isolated Polish strongpoints, acting on their own, kept fighting. They had no hope of relief. They knew the national defense was in tatters. Their choice was no longer about victory, but about cost. They would make the Germans pay for every meter of their homeland. On the 3rd day, the Germans captured a Polish position and used the wounded soldiers as human shields, forcing them ahead of their tanks toward Captain Raginis's command bunker. It was a brutal, psychological blow. With ammunition nearly gone, most of his men dead, and facing the slaughter of his own wounded, Raginis was presented with a German demand for surrender. Here, history holds its breath. Captain Raginis ordered his remaining men to lay down their arms and surrender. He released them from their duty. But for himself, he remembered his oath. He told his men he had sworn to hold his post. As his soldiers left the bunker, Captain Raginis remained. He then activated a grenade, ending his own life rather than surrender the position. The last bunker fell silent. The 3-day stand was over. In military terms, Wizna was a footnote, a delay. But in the story of human spirit, it is a monument. For 3 days, 720 men held off 40,000. They stalled a critical Panzer Corps, buying precious, bloody time for other units to regroup. They became a legend, known as the Polish Thermopylae. But to me, it's more than a legend of sacrifice. It's a flashpoint that defines the very essence of resistance. It asks the question, what is the value of a stand when the battle is already lost? At Wizna, the answer was clear. The value is in the statement itself. It is the declaration that some forces, no matter how technologically advanced or numerically overwhelming, can be met with a will they cannot comprehend. It's the idea that a line in the dirt, defended by those who believe in what lies behind it, can become an immovable wall. For Flashpoints, I'm Ibnul Jaif Farabi. This episode was produced by Light Knot Studios. Find more stories of defiance and destiny at https://www.lightknotstudios.com.